The first thing I noticed when I moved to America was just how positive Americans are.
We feel so welcome here, like we kind of belong here, even though we just arrived today.
This is an American car wash. Look at this. How fancy is that? Many countries you don't have all these lights and stuff, but American car wash, that hits.
Is it possible that a country everyone loves to criticize for its guns, its traffic, and its junk food might actually be one of the last places on earth where a stranger will still stop what they're doing to help you? That's the question a lot of European visitors ended up asking themselves this summer. And if you want more videos like this, hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss the next one. Because this series is only getting started. Picture the kind of scene that shows up again and again in traveler stories this year.
As a European in the US, I just love how people I've never met call me like sweetie and honey and sweetheart. Because I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I am sweet. How did you know?
This is what I love about Americans. You are just so friendly. Just so friendly, I mean.
A group of visitors from Scotland lands in a mid-sized American city for the tournament, expecting the version of the country they've absorbed from headlines loud, divided, unfriendly. Within a day, the picture starts to crack. A diner waitress comps their coffee because you're a long way from home. A stranger in a parking lot spends 10 minutes giving unnecessarily detailed directions, then circles back to make sure they found the place. None of this makes news. It's not supposed to. It's just what a lot of ordinary interactions in America apparently look like when nobody's performing for anyone.
Would you ever move to America?
No. No interest in moving there. No, it's a complete hole.
Nope.
Already lose like 10 of the rights that you have here.
It's a disgusting place. They've got no NHS whatsoever. It's an absolute dump.
Now imagine a similar moment with an English couple at a gas station outside a stadium city, overwhelmed by a store roughly the size of a small airport terminal, selling everything from barbecue to fireworks to 50 flavors of a single soft drink. A local employee notices them squinting at the layout, walks them to what they need, and cracks a joke about starter portions being twice what they're used to back home. It's a small moment. But small moments like that, repeated across a few million tourists over a summer, start to add up to a different impression than the one most Europeans arrive with. There's a version of this with law enforcement too, and this is the one that seems to catch visitors most off guard. A German fan, expecting the tense, hyper-formal encounters with police that dominate a lot of European media coverage of American policing, instead gets a cop directing traffic outside a stadium who's cracking jokes with the crowd, posing for photos, high-fiving kids in jerseys. It doesn't erase every hard story out there about policing in America.
I think this would be the best stadium in the Premier League if this is in England. This is a random stadium they use. Apparently they're all like this, but this is crazy.
Nobody's claiming it does, but it complicates the single flattened narrative a lot of visitors walked in with. Would you rather have a system that's occasionally chaotic, but built on that kind of easy, human warmth, or one that's more orderly, but colder? That's a real question a lot of these travelers found themselves sitting with. Then there's scale, and nothing prepares a European visitor for American scale. Highways stretch to 10 and 12 lanes across. Supermarkets carry aisle after aisle just for cereal or snack chips or bottled water. Pickup trucks parked outside a stadium look less like vehicles and more like small buildings on wheels. A French tourist, filming a Texas highway for social media, reportedly just repeats, "This is insane," for almost a full minute, because there isn't really another sentence for it.
So good. Oh my gosh. Okay, they're really nice. Oh my god. Oh my god. If you're Australian, it's kind of like the KFC, like breaded I haven't had KFC in America, but oh my god.
Portion sizes get the same reaction. A small drink that could double as a bucket. A personal pizza that could feed 3. That abundance isn't just about consumer stuff either. It shows up in the built environment stadiums that seat over 100,000 people, airports the size of small cities, downtown skylines that keep going and going. A Dutch visitor, used to a country you can drive across in a few hours, describes the disorientation of realizing that a single U.S. state can be larger than several European countries combined. It reframes something Europeans don't always think about: the sheer physical size of the thing they're criticizing. Nature does something similar, just quieter. Visitors who expect strip malls and highways get blindsided by national parks that dwarf anything they've hiked back home: canyons, redwood forests, desert horizons that seem to bend the curvature of the earth. A Swedish couple, standing at the rim of a canyon that took millions of years to carve itself out of rock, admits it recalibrated something in how they thought about the country entirely. This is a nation most Europeans picture through cities and politics. Very few picture it through geology and wilderness until they're standing in the middle of it. Time zones do their own quiet work on the traveler's brain. Waking up in one state, boarding a flight, and landing in a place with an entirely different climate, accent, and culture, still within the same country. That's not really something most of Europe can offer within its own borders. A Belgian tourist jokes that crossing from Belgium into France barely changes the menu, but flying from the Pacific Northwest to the Gulf Coast feels like visiting 2 different countries that happen to share a passport. Would you rather live somewhere small enough to know completely, or somewhere so vast you could spend a lifetime and still not see all of it? Then comes money. And this is where the stories get more personal, more specific, less about wonder and more about arithmetic. A tournament volunteer working a stadium job talks, off camera, about tip income during the event, stacking up faster than a comparable service job back home ever did, even accounting for the higher cost of things like healthcare. It's not a universal claim. Nobody's pretending the American system doesn't have real gaps, especially around healthcare and housing, and this video isn't here to paper over that. But for this one worker, in this one summer, the math worked out in a way that surprised her. That's the kind of individual story that's more honest than a sweeping statistic anyway. 1. Data point. Clearly labeled as just that.
I feel like I've been lied to about the US. It is so nice here. We're in Miami Beach and it's a glorious day. There's people out here playing volleyball. There's just people riding bikes, riding roller skates, running. Everyone is extremely fit here. Yeah. The stereotypical thought of America is that people are obese, but here, everyone is so fit.
Patriotism is its own theme entirely, and it's the one that seems to unsettle European visitors the most, in a complicated way. Flags on porches in small towns. The national anthem sung, unironically, by a stadium full of strangers who don't know each other's names. A kind of open, unguarded pride that a lot of modern Europe has quietly moved away from expressing in public. Some visitors find it moving. Some find it a little much. Almost all of them mention it. A Danish fan, filming a pregame ceremony, admits she can't remember the last time she saw a crowd back home sing anything together with that kind of full-throated sincerity. Food culture rounds out the picture in smaller, funnier ways. Drive-through culture that lets you order, pay, and eat without leaving your car. tipping customs that confuse and occasionally frustrate first-time visitors trying to do the mental math on 18 versus 20%. Regional food identities. Texas barbecue, Nashville hot chicken, New Orleans gumbo that feel less like variations on a theme and more like entirely separate cuisines wearing the same passport. A visiting Italian, expecting bland stereotypes about American food, leaves instead debating barbecue regions with the same seriousness Italians usually reserve for pasta shapes. By the end of the trip, a pattern shows up across almost all of these stories. Visitors who arrived a little skeptical, a little defensive, leave admitting, sometimes publicly, sometimes just to themselves, that the country didn't match the flattened version they'd absorbed from headlines and group chats. That doesn't mean every stereotype was wrong. It means the reality turned out to be messier, bigger, and more contradictory than either the criticism or the flag-waving fully captures. So here's the real question, the one worth sitting with after all of this. Would you rather live somewhere smaller, more orderly, more predictable, or somewhere louder, bigger, messier, but somehow still capable of producing that many small moments of unscripted kindness? There's no single right answer, but if this kind of comparison gets you thinking, hit like, share it with someone who'd argue with you about it, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you catch the next one in this series. One last thing before you go. Everything in this video is a compilation of illustrative scenes built around the kinds of stories and reactions that circulate widely across travel content and social media during major events like this, not verified individual accounts, and not a claim about official policy or the full social reality of any country. It's meant for entertainment and discussion, not as a factual record of specific people or events. And it isn't a substitute for actual reporting or data if you're trying to draw real conclusions. The channel isn't responsible for decisions anyone makes based on it. Make of it what you will, and we'll see you in the next one.